Hello friends, today we are discussing about the bone anatomy of the clavicle. Clavicle is situated in front of the root of neck. As you see in this figure, it is situated on the root of the neck. It is also called the collar bone because above this bone the collar lies, so it is also known as the collar bone. Now how can we determine the site of the clavicle? For that, the three distinguishing features which determine the side of the clavicle. Medial end is rounded, lateral end is flat, and the most important site determination point of the clavicle, that is presence of conoid tubercle on the postero-inferior aspect of lateral end. Remember, I further repeat, conoid tubercle is present on the posterior and inferior aspect of lateral 1/3 of clavicle. Clavicle is mainly divided into medial 2/3, lateral 1/3 part, and the two ends. Medial 2/3 part, which is convex forward and concave backward. There is no borders in the medial 2/3 part. Only four surfaces are present, that is anterior, posterior, superior, and inferior. Anterior surface, as you see in this figure, it is convex and rough for the muscle attachment. Posterior surface is concave and smooth on the lateral side. Superior surface is rough on the medial side and smooth on the lateral side. And the inferior surface, which presents a costal impression near the medial end. This is a costal impression which is present on the medial end. Now about the lateral 1/3. Lateral 1/3 part of the clavicle have two borders and two surfaces. Anterior border of the lateral 1/3 is concave and it presents a small tubercle which is called deltoid tubercle. Here in this figure, we draw the green line which indicates the anterior border. Posterior border is also line which is convex and smooth, and in the middle of the medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3, that is in the shaft of the clavicle, there is a shallow groove is present on the inferior aspect, that is called subclavian groove. Lateral 1/3 part of the clavicle have two surfaces also. Superior surface is subcutaneous, which lying just below the skin, and inferior surface is convex, and on this surface there is a one tubercle is present on the just near the posterior border on the inferior surface, that is called conoid tubercle. As you see in this figure, the conoid tubercle is present, and one line which begins from the conoid tubercle to the lateral end, that is called trapezoid line, which is an oblique ridge which extends forwards and laterally from conoid tubercle to the lateral end, that is called trapezoid line. Two ends of the clavicle, medial and lateral. Medial end is called sternal end. It is rounded and it has a convex surface which articulates with the clavicular notch of sternum, and it forms sternoclavicular joint. So medial end is also named as sternal end. Lateral end or acromion end. This end is flat and have a small oval facet which articulates with the similar facet of the acromion process of scapula, and it forms acromioclavicular joint. So the lateral end is also named as acromion end. The muscle which is originated from the clavicle, the first muscle, that is the pectoralis major, clavicular head. As we have discussed previously, there are four surfaces in the medial two-third part of the clavicle. Out of four surfaces, the anterior surface, which is rough, and it gives origin to the pectoralis major muscle. So the pectoralis major muscle is originated from the anterior surface of the medial two-third part. Next muscle is sternocleidomastoid, clavicular head. As we have discussed in bone anatomy, that the superior surface is divided into two parts, medial rough and lateral smooth part. The medial rough part of superior surface of medial two-third gives origin to sternocleidomastoid muscle, clavicular head. Next muscle is sternohyoid lateral head. Sternohyoid is originated from the posterior surface, lower part of medial two-third part. So, out of four surfaces, three surfaces of medial two-third gives origin to different muscle. Anterior surface pectoralis major, superior surface sternocleidomastoid, and posterior surface sternohyoid muscle. As we know that the lateral one-third part have two borders, anterior border which is concave and posterior border which is convex. In the anterior border of the lateral one-third part, there is a small tubercle. This tubercle is known as deltoid tubercle, and it gives origin to the deltoid muscle. Next, about the insertion. The muscle which is inserted in the clavicle, that is trapezius. As we have discussed in the bone anatomy, the trapezoid line is present in the posterior aspect of lateral one-third. The line which begins from the conoid tubercle to the lateral end, that is the acromion end, that is called trapezoid line. So this line gives insertion to the trapezius muscle. So trapezius muscle is inserted in the trapezoid line in the lateral one-third part of the clavicle. Next muscle is subclavius. Between the medial two-third and lateral one-third, there is a center part that is called the shaft or the middle of the clavicle. In the inferior surface of the middle of the shaft or middle of the clavicle, there is a shallow groove which is called subclavian groove, and which gives insertion to the subclavius muscle. Thank you.